bringing out the performer in all of us. I'm Tonya Hall, and joining me is Phil Libin, co founder and former CEO of Evernote, co founder and CEO of All Turtles, and of mmHmm. Welcome back, Phil.
Nice to be back.
So, what does All Turtles do?
We're a product studio. Our goal is to make high quality products that are hopefully good for the world with as little bullshit as possible.
Okay, everybody wants to know what is mmHmm and what motivated you to create it?
Well, we were all stuck working from home, like many people, for the past few months, living on video, and it's just kind of dreary and depressing. And we were being pretty productive, but weren't having too much fun at it. And so we just thought we would make something to make working on video better. So started working on it a couple months ago. It's only about 2 months old, and it's gone really fast.
Besides boredom, what was there inspiration from somewhere, maybe from gamers or TikTok?
Well, the main thing is we kind of realized that when you're doing anything on video, presenting, performing, having meetings, whatever, it's just easy to feel like an anonymous, head in a box, and it kind of strips away all of the personality, or a lot of the personality that we normally have. And we thought, well, there's no reason for that, right? Like when we're watching TV, there's personality, it's fun, but somehow when we're all thrown on Zoom calls, it just kind of feels, very, very dreary. So we just tried to, the inspiration was, how do we make real life on video feel more like, like Saturday Night Live, or like a show that we like. And we just kind of started doing research on this, and yeah, we saw that there's lots of gamers have already figured this out, lots of content creators have already figured this out, and we wanted to just bring that to the rest of us.
Why the name mmHmm?
Well, lots of reasons. I think it's it's a pretty good name. This is, by the way, how it's spelled, if anyone is curious. The normal reason I usually give, I mean, you probably heard me say this before, is it's because it's important to have a name that you can say while eating. And I believe this is true. This is Domo is one of my favorite characters of all time. I have a strong emotional connection with Domo. But there's lots of other jokey reasons as well. So I can give you fake reasons all day. Actually, we put up a video about why it's actually called mmHmm recently, so I can send you the link.
Yeah, well, and we can refer to that at the end here. So we are all performers now, right? So this is something that we can all use.
Yeah, I think we really thought about like what's mmHmm for, right? And like, are we about communication? Are we about collaboration? Are we like where your team gathers to do work? And we realized we don't really want to be any of those things because there's already like so many great tools that do that. We really want it to be for performing. Nike used to have this slogan, everyone's an athlete. And I never believed it because I'm not an athlete. But we kind of think that everyone's a performer, that all of us, multiple times a day, do something like where we say, okay, like everyone, like pay attention to me. I'm going to do a bit, like attention over here. And mmHmm makes that better, right? mmHmm elevates that, because when we're doing it over video, it's just kind of dreary, right? It's easy to feel like, you're not getting audience reaction. You're an anonymous head in a box. So mmHmm is where you go to perform all of these little micro performances that you do every day. And maybe you're performing for your coworkers or your kids or your boss or your investors or your social media followers, or whoever your audience is. It's for when you want to perform and you want to make it better. You use mmHmm. So it's for the performers in all of us.
And I think to your point, I mean, you have, what you would traditionally think of as a content creator from traditional television. You mentioned being on TV, to even TikTok creators who are creating content. But then you also talked about just in our everyday lives, and something that we're starved of is certainly the interaction that we have with our coworkers, and we don't really get any sort of reaction there. And then educators, back to school has started. So let's talk about that for specifically. What are opportunities for education and online learning?
I think our philosophy with all of this stuff is we think the world is, there's one big change which is basically happening, which is from now on and like forever, everything's hybrid. Like, this is the big thing, right? Everything is going to be a combination of in person and online. Even, even after the pandemic is over, like there's going to be very few things that are in person only. Everything's going to be a mixture of in person and online, but also hybrid across the dimension of live versus like interactive and pre-recorded. So if you think about this kind of 2x2, right, where in one dimension you have in person and online, and in the other dimension you have live versus pre-recorded, all four of those boxes are in play in the new world. Everything is like a mixture of those two things. And we think that if we reimagine experiences that are fundamentally native to this hybrid world, we can make those experiences better than they were in the before time. Right? So like we're calling this, the philosophy is IRL plus, better than in real life. So rather than trying to replicate the old reality using new technology, but also new limitations, which is kind of futile, we're saying, how do we make it better? Right? So instead of saying like, well, education over video is much worse than it was live because you don't have the same, in-person connection, so it's less effective. But maybe if we like all get better microphones and use technology, we can make it almost as good as it used to be. We're like, well, that doesn't make sense. We can't make it almost as good as it used to be. We have to make it much better than it ever was. Right? We have to reimagine it, and not just for education. We have to do that for performing, for selling, for medicine, for for kind of everything. It's this IRL plus idea. How do we make stuff not almost as good as before, not like lament for the lost world, but better than it ever was, so that there is no going back. There's only going forward. And yeah, I think education is a huge area. We're actually working with several schools and teachers now, and students about how to make this better. But the idea is, like what's possible now that wasn't before, and lots of things. Like once you start thinking about it that way, you realize that lots of things are possible. As long as you're not trying to copy what you had before, you're trying to make something new. It's not that hard.
How are you handling privacy in the app?
Well, I mean, just like with Evernote, privacy is just kind of fundamental. So the most important thing is what's the business model, right? Because companies that run into problems with privacy, like for the most part, like people concentrate on bugs and things like that, but like really the bugs aren't the problem. The problem is like if the inherent business model is you're going to do slimy things with people's data, then it's going to be bad for privacy. If the business model is direct revenue only, which is what it was at Evernote and what it's going to be at then it's much easier, right? So we will only ever make money when people pay us to use our product, people and companies and whoever. So there'll be a free version, there'll be a premium version, but the revenue comes from people wanting to use it. We're not going to like monetize data in some way. We don't have any like weird future plans for what to do with that. So once you kind of have that, once you say as a rule set in stone, direct revenue only, then it's straightforward, right? Then you say, well, we don't need to look at the things that we don't need to look at. Anything you put on the ownership doesn't change; it's still yours. We don't see it unless you want us to see it, unless you like publish it, make it public or share it with us. It's just it's a tool that you're using. Like all of that becomes pretty straightforward, and so we have to work every day to make sure we have good security and good privacy, and change things as they need to change. But the central philosophy is the business model must be fully aligned with what the customers want. What we want has to be exactly the same thing as what the customers want, and then it's straightforward. And all of the companies that get in trouble are the ones that have fundamentally misaligned business model, where what they want is not what their customers want. And then it doesn't matter how much you try, you're never going to be able to line that up and do it right.
Someone who's created more than one new product and been very successful, you mentioned Evernote.
Moderately successful.
You have this this period of time where you launch the product and you learn and discover what people want. Now that we're in an age of people certainly not only creating new products, maybe pivoting, we're also learning differently from customers, I would imagine, than any other time in most recent history with the pandemic and the way that people are consuming and treating products. Are you getting a different reaction or different feedback on the different iterations than you thought you might have received? What's been a surprise?
Yeah, I mean, the reaction to has been really fast, much more than we expected. We actually weren't trying to make any noise yet. We're still in closed beta. So our plan was to actually be pretty modest, pretty conservative, only invite a few people until we were ready to release publicly, which isn't going to be until fall. So basically, we were planning on spending July and August like in a pretty quiet period, not looking for any hype. In fact, we considered keeping the beta secret, like asking people to not talk about it. But then we just thought, man, we're just kind of feels like a kind of a dick move, like giving people a communication tool and being like, don't tell anyone, right? So we thought, all right, well, we're not going to ask people to not talk about it, which means that people will talk about us and will know about it, which means there'll be some discussion. So we may as well like get out in front of it, just so that we're not being mysterious or coy. So I made like one demo video, and we talked to one reporter, Casey at The Verge, and just thinking like, okay, we'll just get it out there. That's it for the record, and then we're just going to like keep it quiet for a couple of months until we're ready to launch. And it just didn't go that way. So the interest has been huge, much more than I anticipated. And it's too early to say that we have great product market fit, because the product is still in early beta, although the early indications are good. But we definitely have great like product timing fit. Like people really, 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 really want something that makes life on video less dreary.
You mentioned this fall. How will someone find when it's ready? Where should they go?
Well, app is where you can go now to sign up for the beta. If you want to try it, there's a wait list here in that app. We're inviting new people every day. We actually just did a big batch of invites where we invited tens of thousands of people all in one day recently. That was kind of scary. But yeah, come to that app and sign up for the beta. It's Mac only for now, but we are working on a Windows version, hard at work, and mobile versions. So by the time we're ready in the fall, we'll have it on multiple platforms. It is beta software, so like, it will probably destroy your computer if you install it. It's just how beta software works. So if you don't want that to happen, you can wait until it's out commercially in the fall. But if you want to help us test and build a great product, which we definitely appreciate, it's at that app.
Well, so if we want our computer to explode. All right. Well, thanks for the heads up on that. Your little disclaimer there, Phil. I have to ask, what's on your shirt?
Oh, this is a great motto for the whole year. This comes from a Japanese theme park, amusement park, where they banned a few weeks ago. They banned screaming on roller coasters because it spreads COVID, and so they put up signs in the amusement park saying, "Please scream inside your heart." And so we thought that "Please scream inside your heart" is the best possible slogan for the year 2020. So it's kind of become the unofficial slogan is "Please scream inside your heart," written in Japanese.
That's perfect, Phil. Perfect slogan, as well as everything else. Phil, if somebody wants to find out more about the work that you guys do at All Turtles, or maybe they want to connect with you personally, how can they do that?
Well, All Turtles is just all-turtles.com is our website, and I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. I'm at plibin on Twitter, so reach out to me there, or you can reach the team either at hello@all-turtles or hello@mmHmm.app. We'll put you in touch with people that want to talk to you.
As always, Phil, we love having you a guest. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tonya.
And find more of my interviews right here or at tonyahall.net. Thanks for watching.